Hi everyone, welcome to my channel, Learning in Pidgin with Esther Miley Starlet. So basically in this channel we'll be learning science related subjects in Pidgin in a fun engaging way, and it's mostly for students in West Africa where Pidgin is commonly spoken. So in today's topic we'll be considering the endocrine system. That's not Pidgin, I'm going to start very soon. Okay, so endocrine system, it's one of those systems for the body which just they in charge of coordination, bringing about balance in the entire human system. When you speak of neuro, immuno, and the cardiovascular, all those systems they're important. So the endocrine system they also very very important. Without the endocrine system, get so many things when it go function for your body. So what really is the endocrine system? It consists of glands, and these glands, why are they not organs? Why are they not cells? Wetin gland mean be say e dey secrete something, just like your salivary gland. Salivary gland dey secrete saliva. So these glands they are scattered all around the body. E dey secrete something, and their secretion, dey organized. Like the heart. The heart is found in your chest cavity. It has its function and the bone skeletal system. But the endocrine system just dey scattered all around. From the brain, you can see in this video or in this image, the brain, the thyroid, thymus, adrenal gland, pineal gland, they scattered all over the body. Basically, their function be say they go secrete something um into the bloodstream. So in textbooks, you will see something as endocrine glands are glands that secrete hormones into um, ductless glands that secrete hormones into circulation. Now, I don't introduce another word, hormone. Wetin be these hormones? But think of hormones as chemical messengers. They just they transport information up and down the human body. They get this ability to restore balance. Let's say something in your body is high, hormones go dey secreted wey go bring am low, or if something in your body is low, hormones go dey secreted wey go bring am high. You understand? So these hormones are what these glands secrete. Now, there's something called ductless glands, and okay, let me introduce another concept: endocrine glands and exocrine glands. Now, wetin these two words mean? Endocrine be say they secrete this thing into just circulation, like they no get pipe. The human body gets vessels and arteries, all those things, or just like a pipe network connection. The human body gets that kind of thing. So, but endocrine gland they no go secrete them into this pipe system, like the into the capillaries. Yeah, I think that's what I'm looking for. They go instead secrete them into interstitial fluid of the body that it will now enter into the circulation, which is the blood, and it will travel to the target organs. Exocrine gland, on the other hand, they go just secrete these things into ducts, and when they secrete this thing into duct, then they can now move around the body. So for this slide, say hormones be chemical messengers wey be say they go dey released into the bloodstream by these glands, and they go affect the biological functioning of the human body. So now for your exam, they fit ask you wetin be endocrine, exocrine, paracrine and autocrine. All these na just grammar. Paracrine, anything para for science just means say the thing dey beside. If you just hear para in any of your science concept, it means that thing is beside. So these are glands where we say they go secrete their own chemical messengers, hormones in this context. So just organs beside them. I no wan give example yet because we haven't gotten to there. Autocrine, on the other hand, auto na like self. Auto delete, you delete yourself, or autoimmune system, you dey attack yourself. Autocrine, on the other hand, means e dey secrete these hormones for him own self. See how e dey work. And then exocrine we've spoken about, they will secrete it into like holes, and it will travel in the body. And then this video gangan now for endocrine system, where we say these are glands that when they do their own secretion, it will travel around the body, affecting different biological processes. Now, for the human body, they start with the brain. Now, this brain, e get wetin they call hypothalamus. I shall try get a video or a picture so that you go see am. The hypothalamus just dey around the diencephalon. Anatomists go understand this. Diencephalon, and then it's on the base of the hypothalamus, you go get the pituitary gland. The pituitary be say e get two types or two lobes: anterior pituitary, posterior pituitary. Wetin be anterior for science? Anterior means in front of, posterior means behind. Now, the entire endocrine system, we fit say e begin with the brain. Why? Because brain hypothalamus na the beginning part wey be say e go release or e go give out or e go secrete in this context, releasing hormones. Now, I want make you remember am like this, releasing hormones. HR, hypothalamus gives releasing hormones. Anterior pituitary, on the other hand, will secrete stimulating hormone. If you say maybe South Africa, SA, anterior pituitary will give stimulating hormones. Now, in order to understand what really happening, the hypothalamus go first of all check how the body dey function. Any organ wey no dey work properly, any endocrine gland wey no dey work properly, wey be say e fit affect, the hypothalamus go just send message sharp to anterior pituitary, and anterior pituitary go now send message im own sharp to those target organs, and those organs go just, everybody go lock up, know wetin e go do. Now let me explain some concepts wey be say you fit find for your exam. What makes what makes a target organ? Target organ be say you go get something about you wey go fit receive the hormone. You no go reason am from back like that anyway. Na the hormone gangan, like the hormone itself, go define wetin the target organ go be. Let me explain scientifically. There are lipid soluble hormones and there are water soluble hormones, meaning these hormones can be either peptide, glycoproteins, steroid hormones, or amines. What does that mean? Peptide hormones, everybody knows, protein in circulation, they are water soluble, so they go just move freely. Lipid soluble hormones, on the other hand, they no get that kind chance to just dey move freely, so they have to be bound by a carrier protein. Get, but the thing be say lipid soluble hormones, once they reach the cell membrane, they go immediately sharp diffuse into the cell membrane. So lipid soluble hormones have their own receptor inside the cell. Meanwhile, proteins are those hormones, they get their own receptor outside the cell. Because they cannot diffuse the lipid membrane, they wait for them for the cell membrane so that they will receive the hormone and then take it inside the cell for proper functioning. But wetin I just define, e get some hormones wey defy this logic. Mine starts with the lipid soluble. Now, why be say the lipid soluble dey enter into the cell? Be say they affect the nuclear aspect of the cell, meaning they take part in genome. You know, for science now, DNA things, DNA means everything genetics. So these hormones, lipid soluble hormones, they enter into the cell membrane and they function and take part in the genome function. Meanwhile, e get some hormones wey no just fit enter the this thing. Okay, e get some hormones like protein hormones wey fit enter the cell too. Example na the thyroid hormones wey be say na the anterior pituitary dey secrete. The thyroid hormone na amine o, but e get swag, e fit enter inside the cell membrane with obviously a carrier protein, and then because it's affecting the nuclear or the genomic aspect of the cell. You know, the thyroid, they play very good function in, you know, cell differentiation and everything that pertains to development of the cell of the human entirely. On the other hand, water soluble hormones, which are proteins, there are some that are just amino acid derived. One of such is we have our norepinephrine and epinephrine, which they come from adrenal glands. Those ones, the guts they flow. Just normally, now make if you get any wahala like this, like flight or flight, immediately you don't respond because those hormones they flow inside of you. Remember that the blood is made up of plasma, which is the water part of the blood. So they will just flow for that blood. Immediately you respond. So you get, starts with the hypothalamus sending a releasing hormone to the anterior pituitary, and then the anterior pituitary will send in own hormone to the target organs. Notice I never talk much on posterior, but this posterior pituitary, naturally they don't make hormones. Now wetin the hypothalamus make, e go come send am just give posterior pituitary say abeg no vex, just keep this hormone. Anytime it is needed, you get, then you release it to the circulation. Move, so we move on to the thyroid hormone. The thyroid hormone dey found in the cervical region, which is the neck region. Anatomy, they call it cervical region. Now e dey na one of the most functional hormones for the human body because every part of metabolism you go always like find the hand there. And remember, it's an amine containing hormone. It also has a iodine in it. Wetin how e dey function? The hypothalamus go first send releasing hormone to the anterior pituitary. Wey be say the anterior pituitary will now send thyroid stimulating hormone to the thyroid gland. And the thyroid gland dey release three types of hormone: iodothyronine, thyroxine, and calcitonin. Now how I dey take remember am? 3 and 9, e get one like familiar relationship. So that first one I call triiodothyronine. Immediately I hear that thyronine, Nine as the last letters. I just remember saying na T3 be that. And then thyroxine na T4. And then calcitonin na the next hormone wey the thyroid gland dey still dey release. Now let me tell you, like, the T3 dey more potent than the T4, but the thing be say sometimes T4 dey always dey converted to T3, but they both can enter into the cell. They fit cross through the help of receptors. They fit cross the cell membrane, enter into the nuclear membrane of the cell, and also participate in genome expression. Now calcitonin on the other hand, wetin e dey do? Now take for example say you get weak bones, but you eat a lot of calcium rich food. Calcitonin dey in charge of clearing those calciums from your blood into the bones so that e go strengthen your bones. Or sometimes if pikin no dey waka well or im bones no strong, they go administer this hormone so that e go help calcium into the bones so that the bones go dey very very effective. Moving forward, we have dopamine, and in my diagram you see dopamine affecting the biological effect of prolactin. Wetin be prolactin? Pro means, I am for this thing, so I am pro this. And lactin na from like the word lactation. So let's say a woman is breastfeeding, and then over time she wan comot that pikin for breast, or breast milk will not come again. Dopamine is actually an inhibiting hormone from the hypothalamus, right? So it will inhibit prolactin when time is due. Prolactation, it will stop breast milk. You get. Now you see the last hormones, ADH and oxytocin. Remember say I say posterior no dey everly make im own hormone, but the hypothalamus go just make hormone, come carry am give posterior. Na these two hormone hypothalamus dey make carry give posterior pituitary: ADH and oxytocin. ADH means antidiuretic hormone, and oxytocin means um na one of the hormones wey be say if you wan give birth, this is oxytocin. If you wan give birth, e dey help contraction so that pikin go push the pikin comot. So you see how hormones are very very important in our everyday metabolism. And then ADH, some textbook dey call am vasopressin. Means anti means against, di diuretic, di means two, uretic means urine, and then H na for hormone. So against two hormone, anything two hormone means is like saying two times urine means more urine, but it's saying antidiuretic hormone wey be say against urination. Basically, e dey go tell your kidney say, look, we need to retain water in the body. They call it reabsorption. So the kidney go just hold back water for one reason or the other. Let's say you are thirsty. Instead of okay, you are thirsty, you need water. Like instead of really taking out water, you need, now this ADH go stimulate your thirst center. One of the hormones they play the function of stimulating your thirst center. So you see how these hormones are very important in our everyday living. Now e get some hormones wey be say I never mention here, but they also very important in our everyday metabolism. One of such na parathyroid hormone. Remember say I say anything para na beside, anatomically parathyroid hormone actually dey behind the thyroid. Wetin e dey do? e dey do the opposite of calcitonin. E dey break bones, not like break it physical like hammer, but e dey in charge of bringing out calcium into the blood to help. You know say calcium dey also very important for neurons to send messages. So if calcium no dey blood, parathyroid hormone na e go function to bring out whoever dey hold calcium, whichever organ dey hold calcium, make una release am. We need am for blood. So parathyroid hormone dey do that work. Now there are some organs in the body that also give out hormone. To me, that's quite weird because I thought only on endocrine glands. They are not organs, they are just glands. So they should be the only ones to secrete hormones. But as God designed them, we get some organs where they also give out their own hormones. One of such now, get they call pancreas. They around your belly side. That pancreas, they give out insulin. Let's say you just finish to chop, it means your glucose is high for blood. Now your glucose is supposed to be high in the blood. Your insulin go come from pancreas so that it go clear this insulin from it go clear glucose from the blood. Different organs. Okay, wanna take carry build up do work. We don't need more glucose in the blood. Adipose tissue take save am. You get same thing if you dey hungry, no get sugar for blood. Insulin go release glucagon in this time. Then glucagon go come go back those organs so they knock on their door say guys we no get glucose for blood, we wanna release something wey we go use break down so that we can make glucose for this human being. Now this pancreas dey exert both endocrine and exocrine function. Remember that why I tell you say exocrine function be say e go release its own secretion put for duct. When you are having to digest your meal, some part of the endocrine, some part of the pancreas rather, they release pancreatic juice where they help to break down the meal you take. Okay, so you see how unique these organs are for like for you to have a perfect homeostatic functioning in your physiology. Another organ that is not like an endocrine organ or gland rather, it gives out hormone now. They call them heart. It gives out ANP, atrial natriuretic peptide. All these they function well for blood pressure regulation, and also on these trophic hormones and tropic hormones matter. Now, in some exams, lecturers go ask you straight up, make a difference between tropic hormones and trophic hormones. Now, na very simple concept actually. Think of your hormones, like I said, they are coming from glands. The anterior pituitary is one of such glands. The adrenal cortex, another gland. The thyroid, is another gland. Parathyroid, another gland. So these glands, they just dey around your thymus, pineal gland. So the tropic hormones, na those hormones wey be say they dey come from one endocrine gland, dey send their hormone wey go land on another endocrine gland. Just dey like the anterior pituitary sending adrenocorticotropic hormone to land on the adrenal gland, and the adrenal gland go come release im own hormone. You see am? A very simple concept. Endocrine gland, and tropic hormones. And the other one, trophic hormones. Now these are hormones wey be say they come from endocrine gland, but their bus stop no go be another endocrine gland. And in this picture, you see pituitary landing on the liver. So anterior pituitary, as per growth hormone, e go trigger the liver to release insulin-like growth factor, and this will help the liver go use am do one or two metabolic process in the body. So trophic hormones, tropic hormones, no dey afraid. Na very simple concept. Okay. Now what scientists dey do, right? What's the current trend, research trend on endocrine system? Now scientists dey try be say let them make in the laboratory little organs, little endocrine glands that will help secrete artificial hormones that they can use to treat patients in the hospital. So let's say your endocrine gland dey faulty. It's either they are making these hormones according to research, Harvard research recently, and these these organs replace the organs, the faulty ones in your body, or they are making the organs, then they now get the hormones from the organs and then inject it in you, and it will be as though your organ is still working well. So while trying to treat your faulty organ, they are feeding you with the hormones from these organs. So it's called, the research is called organoids. So it's like artificial organs, endocrine gland organs, right? Another hormone that they are working on is bioidentical hormones. That one just basically be say they are trying to make laboratory hormones this time that they can give to patients. Now, insulin is one of such hormones that they've successfully made in the laboratory now. Any pharmacy, if you just go buy insulin for yourself and you'll be fine. And another thing with these are bioidentical hormones, they're important now. These menopausal women, that the hormonal changes affect the outcome of everyday living. You get a lot of hormonal imbalance due to menopause. So these bioidentical hormones, they are trying their best to synthesize female sex hormone, estrogen and progesterone, and hormones will improve the life and the quality of life of menopausal women. So you don't see say science, just give us a little bit of time, we go do wonders. I mean, to the glory of God. We are not trying to be God, so but this is where we'll fold on endocrine glands. Just tell me how you felt about this video. Leave a comment in the comment section. Like, subscribe. Now, next video we'll probably look at the diseases of the endocrine glands. Share this video to your friends that you know they will understand. They will benefit from the understanding of this video. And see you next time. Bye.